Welcome to Daily Grace, everybody. We hope you're doing well together. Every episode, we explore topics and conversations about God's grace to us in Christ. Well, I'm excited that we have Brian Baltzel together on the show today. Brian and Linda have been with us at Grace for a few years, and you are with the Baptist Children's Homes. Have I got that right?
That's correct, yes.
That is great. Well, you have a unique ministry there, which we'll talk about. You also have a fun and unique family, which I'd love to talk about. And so let's just get right into the conversation.
Okay.
Great. You and Linda have been part of Grace for how long? And Nathan have been part of Grace for?
Since 2014.
Since 2014. So all these years now. Now look, where did you grow up?
I grew up in northern Ohio.
Northern Ohio. And where'd you go to school, and how did you get to North Carolina?
Well, I went to school. I gradually moved south the whole time, but basically from northern
It's cold
Ohio.
up there.
Yeah, from northern Ohio, I moved to southern Ohio, where I attended Ohio University, and then I had a job in Wilmington with DuPont, and I worked for DuPont.
Wilmington, Delaware, or
no, Wilmington, North Carolina.
North Carolina,
Yep,
DuPont.
yep,
Okay.
down in what they called the Cape Fear plant,
Mhm.
and that kind of landed me in North Carolina.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then when did you meet Linda? How long have y'all been married?
Oh gosh, this is our 30th year.
Really?
Yeah.
When's your anniversary?
In January 20th.
And that will be 30 years?
31.
31. So you've
Yeah.
already passed 30, and you're
Mhm.
on to 31. And January 20th. And how did y'all meet?
Oh, through a ministry outreach.
Yeah.
There was a homeless shelter that we were both volunteering at, and just same church attendance and friends and everything kind of connected us, and had a common interest in missions. Linda had been involved in many missions by that point, and had done a lot of traveling.
I mean, Linda is a joy to everybody she meets. She just brightens the room every time. Like, what's the best quality? What is her best quality?
Gosh, when Linda goes someplace, and when we go on a mission trip,
Yeah.
within minutes, it's about Linda. I mean, people will actually flock around her. The children love her. Her whole countenance is just full of light when she's with them, and she's just a real encouragement to the people down there. She works hard to learn enough of the language so that she can communicate with them, and just comes bearing gifts and just, taking a look at what they need and finding a way to help out.
Mm-hmm.
But she is well loved down there.
She's well loved here too. And you all have been going to Nicaragua on mission trips for 8 years,
Mhm.
give or take. And then before then, several others. We were just talking about how you've done 2 mission trips to Montreal, my hometown.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and we've been out at the Navajo Indian Reservation. We've been at helping with different church building programs, and Linda's actually been to Moldova and Haiti. Been there quite a long time at one point before she knew me.
Wow.
And actually, I have some pictures of her just loving on children that are just, you can
In
just
Haiti?
yeah.
Yeah.
And you can just see the light in her eye with just being with the children.
She really is a joy.
Yeah.
She really is. The Lord, I mean, he who finds a wife finds a good thing, and the
Mhm.
Lord was gracious
Amen.
to you.
Yeah.
How many children do you have?
We have 2. Our oldest is John David.
Yep.
He lives outside of Bath, North Carolina, and but he travels all over North America. He's works with in agribusiness,
Yep.
with food animals, I should say, and specializes in nutrition and helping resolve health issues and things like that with animals.
With animals?
Yeah, so he's a consultant. He's self-employed, and just is all over the place with that.
That's fantastic.
Yeah.
And then we know your other son, who is Nathan.
Nathan, yeah,
He's so special.
yeah. Nathan is.
Everybody loves him.
Yeah, and we do too. Nathan calls Mama Love whenever he needs something. He has to go talk to Love, and I'm his buddy.
Yep.
And but he has his very own special gifts. His love is Christian music, and what he does is he'll talk to musicians. He'll connect with them in different ways. When we were living in Waynesville, he was got to know the staff at the Billy Graham radio station. Still maintains contact with them, but Linda and I will be in the other room, and we'll hear him on the phone talking with people from years ago, and he'll come to us with all the latest news on the artists and what's going on and everything. And when he sees them at different events, he just goes up and carries on with what's going on, and they always say that they're amazed at how much he knows and how up to date he is.
Isn't that amazing? And
yeah.
so Lauren Daigle, he,
Yeah.
you know, I think we were showing pictures of them and
Yeah.
casting crowns and
Yeah,
working the phones.
yeah, yeah.
How many? Yeah, go ahead.
Just a lot.
I mean, how many concerts have you all been to? Can you count them? You just keep going.
Gosh, 30,
Yeah.
35. Yeah, and the nice thing is that a lot of them is that they send him free tickets. They just say they want them this for him. You know, he's been given meet and greet passes,
Yeah.
and just because they want to see him again. And
He just brings love where he is.
yeah, yeah. So they know him. They'll shout out. We've been in a airport, and Crowder was there, and across the way he says, "Hey, Nate the Great," and you know, rushes over to say hello.
Isn't that
so,
great?
he has his own group of people, and independent that way.
Yep. Yeah, and a ministry too, because, you know, I would think if you're famous, you got a lot of hangers on. But when someone loves you for who you are,
Yeah.
which is what Nathan does,
Yeah,
he loves people for who they are,
that's right.
and it's not the fame.
Yeah.
Probably. He has been an encouragement, I know, to our worship team and to me over the years. Just that constant joy and encouragement. Yeah. So
Yeah.
Nathan is a special.
Well,
guy.
and one of the things with Nathan, I think I'd just like to share is that he watches people, and when we're on mission, he is the one that looks at the crowd, and he'll lean over and whisper, "You need to talk to this one, or that one over there needs something," and he just opens our eyes to the need of the moment, and he's good at that. And
Yep.
it's he really has God's eye at that moment, and God's ear. And that's been a blessing just to see God work through him in mission.
Isn't that amazing?
Yeah.
The number of gems and jewels in our congregation, in our body, it's just unbelievable. Like everybody's story, everybody's gifting and different. It's just amazing to me that God has so many people like this. But we just love Nathan. We love you. You all have lived here then, I guess, for 6-7 years now.
Yes.
What brought you to Kinston, or brought you back, as you told us?
Yeah. I've been with Baptist Children's Homes for 30 years,
Okay.
and we started here 90 to 94, and had an opportunity to move to the mountains and go to the Broyhill Home campus, which is a home that is on the side of a mountain and just has spectacular views. It's, as I've always said, it's a taste of heaven. And very happy and content there, and they asked us to come back to Kinston, and that was a difficult decision to do. There's not a whole lot of comparison between the two.
Side of the mountain.
Yeah, and just the beauty of the place, and just the people and everything else. But you know, Kinston has its treasures, and the people that are treasures here too. But they asked us to come back, and I'm kind of the person that starts things up and solves problems. And so they asked me to come back to Kennedy Home and help them kind of get refocused on things and take care of some infrastructure and everything. So, you know, that was the reason why we came back.
And really, when you stop to think about it, when we stop to think about it, administrating or leading or running a children's home on a campus is a huge job, because it's the pastoral side, the shepherding side, and it's the physical plant and admin and the public relations and community. Like it's, but you got to do, you know, you
Yeah.
got to do it all.
Yeah, and you know, we did it. I mean, Linda was very much a part of that. She's kind of the unrecognized one there, but she was always coming alongside. It was nice to be able to hand different groups over to her to take take them on tours and do things with and everything. And actually, she probably has as many people that they'd call that they want to talk to Linda more than they wanted to talk to me and arrange things. So, but Linda was very much a part of that, unrecognized, but she took a lot of leadership with that.
Well, and it's in her wheelhouse, isn't it? Just being with people. Recently, in the last couple of years, you've transitioned to a different role.
Right.
Let's talk about that.
Sure. After getting things straightened up at Kennedy Home, 2 hurricanes, doing it over and over, actually it was a good process, and enjoyed doing it, but just decided that it was time to do something a little bit different. And they've been trying to get the foster care program moving a little bit more here in the eastern part of the state, and so they asked me if I would do the recruiting of foster families and training of them and preparing them for foster care.
Yep.
Yeah.
And that's in the eastern part of the state.
Yeah, pretty much everything east of 95.
Mm-hmm. And what? How is it different to foster through the children's home, Baptist children's homes versus through the state infrastructure?
Sure.
Two good options. Just what are the differences?
Sure. You have the public option, which is local county DSS, and but they draw only from that area. So, like Lenore County, if you were licensed through them and you're working with them, is that they get calls primarily just from Lenore County. Occasionally, they may another county may call and see if they have an available bed, but most of the counties are pretty territorial to keep what they have and everything.
Right.
So, smaller area. So what we have is about 30 counties that we work with, give or take. And so we'll get a call from anywhere in that area, and we just help to place children. And we have foster families anywhere. So it's almost like if you don't have it in-house, they know that they can call us, and we typically will have a family that's available. So that's probably the most noticeable thing is that our area is much more larger that we get referrals from. But the biggest difference is that we're a community of faith. And so we have like interests. We only recruit within the churches, and the focus is to have people that are like-minded, common goal, and it's easy to talk to everyone in terms of ministry. The Christians often are the ones that are easier to get to understand that the most important person in a child's life is the parent.
Yeah.
And that the more you are interested in the parent, get to know the parent to what degree is possible, and everything is that that helps children. So we look at this as a full ministry. It's not just the child. We look at it as God looks at everyone as being his child or a child.
Yeah.
And so the emphasis is just to love on people, with the hope that maybe enough will change that families can be reunited. But if not, we help support adoptive placements out of fostering. And we have had quite a few recently with that. So that's been a nice reward for some of our families.
How many of the, what would you say the fostering to adopt versus fostering to hope that a family can gain enough health to come back together? What is that, half and half, or of all the cases you sort of watch and help and work with?
I think in the state the statistics are it's more like 1 in 10. Our statistics
1 in 10 go back to their original parents, or 1 in 10 to adopt?
1 in 10 to adopt.
To adopt. Okay.
Yeah, and that may even be less than that. In our situations here, a lot of times children have been going through different placements, and we get children that have been in the system a little longer, so that usually means that there's a better chance that they may come up for adoption. The guidelines are you have 15 months to basically get everything proven that you can parent your child. And if that doesn't happen, the judge has the right to make the decision that that the parent's rights can be ended.
Terminated.
Yeah, I hate that word,
I
terminated,
know.
but it's harsh for children to hear that too. So, and even with that, a lot of times with today's social media, the kids are going to stay in touch with their parents, irregardless of a court order.
That's true.
So again, it goes back to as long as you're able to recognize that there's a connection there, and it's important for children to work through that as they come to understand what their parents can and cannot do. That's just part of our ministry, and a lot of Christians buy into that.
And to start to foster, how long is the training with you?
It
With
really
BCH?
it really depends on how quickly someone wants to move. There's basically, I've had the classes done within 6 weeks, but then it's a process of getting the inspections done, fingerprinting, background checks. There's a lot of paperwork as far as information and that type of thing, but typically speaking, about for me is somewhere between 2.5 and 3.5 months. We usually have people have been licensed within that time frame. The state gives you 6 months, and a lot of agencies push it right up to that point.
Yeah. How many kids in your universe are needing it right now?
As far as
Needing
fostering,
fostering, yeah.
oh gosh, during COVID, it's been different. That's all I can tell you. Mostly because investigations have been put off, or trying to do it from a distance type of thing. The expectation is as kids get back into school and more visual evidence of things going on, is that we'll probably see a large increase in the calls. But basically, we have right now, I think, about 20 families that we've licensed in the last year, and with them is that most of our families have had a child or have children, and some of them have moved on towards adoption or guardianship.
I'm impressed at the body at Grace, how many people have adopted or been adopted, how much a part of the ethos it is here that, adoption is part of God's calling for so many, and it really is a joy, because of course it's the reflection of the gospel. Like, God adopted us into his family, and that is almost, any old person can kind of have a baby, but man, when you take that step, you're never more godlike in a sense.
Yeah.
Like, you're just living out the gospel to invite someone into your home like that, and then to draw them right into your family. I'm so thankful for that ethos here, for that influence here of all the people who have stepped into adoption. And I'm actually at a loss to think how many are fostering. I don't have as readily those things. But if somebody wanted to learn more and get involved or think about this, what can they do? How can they think?
They can just contact me.
Yeah.
I've got the phone number, email address, direct contact. You see me at church, you see Linda.
Yeah.
Bring it up, and we'll get in touch with you. My thing is that the other thing is that I work evenings and weekends a lot, just because people work, and having to figure out how to do classes and get the work done and everything. We work with your schedule.
Right. We'd love to see the Lord continue to pour out his Spirit here on this body and on the church in the 30 counties of the East, and continue to raise up safe places for kids in need.
That's right.
And it could be a few weeks, a few months, but you have to be licensed first.
That's right. That's right.
And it is a calling.
Yeah, it is.
What would you say your heart, if you could say, Lord, would you fulfill this dream of mine? What is it?
Oh gosh. Last night a couple of us watched the movie I Can Only Imagine. And of course that's Bart's story about the song that opened the floodgates for him, but also the backing of that song is deals with his abuse by his father, the abandonment by his mother, just the fact that no one in that community really knew what happened. And it was only later as he began to open up and share as a result of that song. Abuse is there, and helping people to be aware and finding ways to intervene and be supportive and just help people deal with the fact that there's been bad things that have happened. And I know grace is part of that. You know, you've got erasing the lines. I think that it's beyond race. I think that it's just erasing the lines of whatever you know, impediment, wall, or whatever is there to help people. But I think that that's my hope. That's Linda's hope. We just want to see not only children help, but if it's possible that their parents can be helped too.
That is great. I mean, I did not really think about that second side of it, the parents and the burden for the parents. And Brian, I love hearing that from you. I think that is just reflective of the Lord's heart as well. I mean, you've said that.
And, you know, as a final kind of thing for me is that almost every foster child or adopted child, I think the percentages are better than 90%, will eventually go and try to find their roots. Helping them through their life deal with it instead of having that harboring over them and all the questions that go out. There's just a good way of doing that and helping them work through it as they grow older.
That's great. Thank you so much. I mean,
Okay.
I know you're busy. Thank you so much for taking time to come and share with all of us and to impart with us some of the ministry God's given you as a couple. We feel blessed at Grace that He has allowed us the privilege of doing life with you and Linda and Nathan, and that you guys are such part of the warp and woof of this church, and like it's your church, you know, and I'm just pumped that we get to serve the Lord together as part of Grace Fellowship. So
We appreciate being a part of this family.
And I would say, as you, maybe you're watching this and you want to get in touch with Brian, just call the office or email me and we'll put you in touch, and we'll figure that out, how to make sure that gets out there. And you may have a friend who wants to see this, or you think, oh, I should let them see this. Share this with them. Get them to watch this and to think about what does fostering look like, or maybe they've been there and how we can love them. But it is a great thing to watch God's daily grace in your life.
Amen.
And in the lives of these kids and these parents, and to think of how He would have us as the body of Christ be part of this part of kingdom work.
Okay, amen.
Thank you, Brian, and thank you all for joining us on Daily Grace, and we will see you the next time.